This is the Nintendo Switch. I've owned this console since I was 15, and I have to admit, at 23, I've experienced quite a few ups and downs with this. From the quality of the physical hardware, Joy-Con drift, to the actual backplate cracking. It's been ups and downs for sure, but I would definitely say this is still one of my most favourite consoles of all time. But like I said, it's been with me since I was 15. 8 years I've had this, and it's about time for a change. Enter the Switch 2.
Atop a tower, looking down on everyone until the day you defeated me. You called it graceful charity. I had to look in the mirror, forced to reconcile and to reconsider how you could have beaten me. Don't wanna
I think I know what's going on. My dad finally did it. He's become a Super Saiyan.
I've had enough. Now I'm mad.
I'm now 24, and now that I have more experience with the Switch 2, I could give you a lot better video on this system. My overall experience with the Switch 2 has been a very positive one. Switch 1 games on Switch 2 perform significantly better. So, in games like Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel, it's performing basically the same. But with games like Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, like Arkham Knight, you notice those performance upgrades. Now, the Switch 2 does have the option of running Switch 1 games as if they're in dock mode. So this means in handheld mode on the Switch 2, if you're playing a game like, say, Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, you could force that game to run as if it's docked. But for games like Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel, it means that you're not going to have touchscreen support. So it's more ideal for some games which don't have that touchscreen support. But it does come with the caveat of some bugs with certain games, which you just have to disable the option of forcing that game to run in dock mode. The Switch 2 also has games which are the Switch 1 version but with upgrade pack. Pokemon Legends ZA and the Legend of Zelda games are such examples. These upgrade packs are resolution upgrades and frame rate upgrades, so you do get better performance in some games. This overall experience has been quite positive. The Switch 2 is more comfortable, the Switch 2 has a better quality display, the Switch 2 has Bluetooth from the get-go, the Switch 2 has the ability to output at 4K. So if you have a 4K television or 4K projector or monitor, whatever is able to utilize 4K, the Switch 2 will be able to output that. Whether the game supports that or not is another thing, but hey, the option's there. The great thing about the Switch 2 is the fact that the backwards compatibility is not limited to just the games. The controllers also have backwards compatibility, meaning that the controllers from the Switch 1 are compatible with Switch 2. All you gotta do with your official Switch Pro controller and Joy-Cons is just wirelessly pair them up. Physical connections wise between the Joy-Cons and the Switch 2, you are going to need an adapter, but those will just work wirelessly. Wired controllers, just plug them in. 8BitDo controllers will need to be updated, but other than that, out of the gate, you already have a wide selection of controllers to go from. And the only issue you're going to really face is when it comes to these third-party docks. Now, third-party docks right now, well, after 10 months since release, have gotten a lot better. You have docks from the likes of Antec, you got the likes from Skull & Co with the Savage Raven line of docks, the Jump Gate specifically, is something that you should definitely look out at, because that's what I'm using right now on my desk. There's also other docks which have it built into the charger, but overall it seems as though accessory wise as well, it's great. 10 months later, it's now there. We have a wide selection of docks, so you don't have to spend the ludicrous £95 or $120 on the official Switch 2 dock. And not only that, the third-party options are more portable, so you have a better selection right there. I did briefly touch upon Switch 2 games, but what about the actual games themselves? What games are on Switch 2 which you can only find on Switch 2? Well, you have games like Cyberpunk and Pragmata, which are two big examples. These are games which are commonly found on the Xbox and PlayStation, games which you need next-gen consoles to play realistically, and these are games which are not able to be played on the Switch 1. Cyberpunk, for example, can't even be played on PS4 or Xbox Series, Xbox One, for example. Like, the PS4 and Xbox One cannot play Cyberpunk at all, but Switch 2 can, and it has DLC. The base models of the Xbox One and 4 not able to, but a Switch 2 can. This is the capabilities of the Switch 2. The Switch 2 is able to play a game like Pragmata, cinematic quality games, and you're able to play this not only on the TV but on the go. The capabilities which, hey, yeah, you can get on the Steam Deck, but the Steam Deck doesn't have that flawless and seamless transition between handheld and dock play. That's something that Nintendo has over there. It's something which Nintendo is known for and has been doing for nearly a decade now, and that is the main thing here. The Switch 2 games are actually on par with the Series S in some regards. It's even better, and that's the shocking thing. A lot of people are starting to realize now Nintendo has really upped the game when it comes to the actual capabilities of their hardware. The simple fact that, I started off my very first gaming journey with Nintendo from the DS over to the 3DS over to the Switch. Venturing out with my first Pokemon, fighting as Sonic the Hedgehog, hacking random people in Cyberpunk, going from the battle bus to the main stage, random bees flying through my ear. I did all that through thanks to Nintendo. It was thanks to Nintendo I was able to maintain friendships online. It was thanks to Nintendo I was able to enjoy games again. So for me, Nintendo is the ideal platform. It's the way I decide to make memories. What's yours?